Frederique has once again brought pictures, which is cool because the last couple of times she hasn't had pictures, which was fine, but her pictures are really neat. Anyways, so Frederique has been here a few times, and she's a sort of a poet illustrator, or not a poet, storyteller, yeah. You need to put on a couple of inches, Frederique.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Right.
I would love it.
Frederique, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, everyone. Well, for me, Halloween is very special. Every year it's always, whatever, the eeriness of it, the love of it, and for many, many years I celebrated, and where I worked, we had to dress in a costume. So 2 years ago, I began to follow the poetry prompts that were given by the library. Jen Hutchinson was prompting the poems to write about, and if we wanted to, we followed the poems. And I began to write those poems and began to find that I really loved doing it. So at the same time, since I have been writing in a diary, never really writing the truth because didn't want anyone to find out what I was really thinking, but I amassed a nice stack, and in the process learned, I believe, how to write at least a little bit. So this is compilation of poems that I wrote, not only during the month of April, but also others, and this is macabre, poems of the macabre. They're not all intensely macabre, but they are definitely Halloween-oriented, and I am going to put them on the Kindle book. I would say hopefully by Sunday, they'll be there, and for about a week, they'll be for free, so if you wish to look for them, it's called Deep On. And this is the introduction to Deep On. Halloween is the eve when we protect good spirits from evil spirits by dressing in costumes, thus thwart off evilness by confusing mean spirits. Comes All Saints' Day, November 1st. Spirits of our ancestors are honored and return home on El Dia de Muertos, November 2, if one is so inclined to invite them. It is also said that on Halloween, one can predict the future by breaking an egg in a bowl, a cup, or glass filled with water, placing it under one's bed overnight, and in the morning identifying the shape the egg has taken. Some describe an airplane, a coffin, a wedding veil, etc. For myself, I've never been blessed with an image, but I go through the process every year in the hope that one day I will. For all purposes, Halloween is still trick or treat and kids' favorite. They eat too much sugar, it gives them nightmares, and they love talking about the monsters in the closet. Where I worked, it was required to dress up on Halloween Day. One time, I came as Marie Antoinette. And not only did I come as Marie Antoinette, I came as Marie Antoinette with a blood-filled scar on my neck, covered with gauze wrapped around it. The fun was exposing the wound to anyone who came to speak to me. It got a shrieking response every time. Another one of my costumes was Lady Godiva. Clad in a very long-haired wig I spent hours making, and a skin-colored body capizio leotard which I appropriately at the last minute found in a supermarket and accessorized with a copper-colored Brillo pad, you know where. I did not win a prize either of those years. I did, though, when I dressed as Cat in the Hat. And did the French can-can. Falling into the split to everyone's delight. Because I was apt to doing the split, my mother had taught me the song and dance of our ancestors many years ago. Since I moved here from the city, every now and then, out of the blue, I have hummed its tune, which always makes me feel protected when I do, but not until just a very short time ago have I finally remembered what this tune was and able to sing it on command. Ta 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 ta, and then fall into the split. Next time you see the commercial of the can soup, you'll remember the song. My wish is to all is to enjoy this celebration in the fun way that it was meant. Not in an evil way, for the latter will backfire on your arse, because the many good spirits that be outnumber the evils, so it still seems. Deep are poems of the macabre, and they're fictitious while inspired by reality. Many of them are. Through my imagination. No one should interpret connection to themselves or to anyone known to them, for they would be wrong and it would be undeserved flattery. So, to read you a little bit an idea of what a macabre or Halloween is, I'm going to read you a poem. It's not for the tender-hearted. It honestly is a macabre. So you will let me know and I'll stop if you want to. This year, I will imagine spending Halloween dressed as a tarantula. Evil spirits may mistakenly attack my costume, thus saving the spirit of the real tarantula. Want me to go on? A love like no other. The lore of the spider and the fly. I cry for the tarantula, a fuzzy spider, paralyzed by the venom of the tarantula hawk, a fly. The tarantula becomes nest to the tarantula hawk's egg, and later food for its larva. The baby tarantula hawk does not eat the tarantula's organs. It keeps it alive so it stays fresh. The tarantula remains alive and paralyzed for 3 months, while the tarantula hawk grows strong to go on to doing the same to another tarantula. God must have made the tarantula to have so much love to be born for such a task. I can only pray that it has no pain and that its unflinching love of giving of itself is rewarded in heaven. Happy Halloween, everyone.